Newcastle's attention tonight goes from the trophy parade, 150,000 out in the streets to see that, to the chase for Champions League qualification. They host Brentford at St James's Park tonight, and Eddie's been speaking ahead of the game.
There's no doubting the power of Champions League football can be game-changing in terms of revenue and also in terms of what it means and the competition, and then of course the changes that you have to make to be ready for the Champions League football, and that changes everything, as we found last year, to our cost to some degree, with the extra games. And so yeah, there's a lot to think about, but I think for us, qualifying for that is going to be very, very difficult. There's, as we know, 10 games. There's a lot of teams competing for those places. It's one of the tightest Premier Leagues that we've seen in recent times. Very little between those teams competing for those places. So it's going to come down to who's the most consistent. Of course, we want that to be us. And in these 10 games, we're going to have to give everything to get there.
Eddie Howe speaking ahead of the game. Danny, Newcastle are 6th. 5th place might get you Champions League qualification. Eddie is saying, and he's been diplomatic, it's going to be very difficult. It's doable. Yeah. It's eminently doable. But what is more transformative for a dressing room, would you say? A domestic trophy, and they've just done it after the 70-year wait, or becoming Champions League regulars?
Champions League regulars. They both have huge advantages, you know, because when you win a first trophy, it does give you belief, it does give you confidence, it does take a bit of pressure off. You just feel that like it goes. Yeah, we had it when Houllier came, and then we got the first one quite quickly, and everyone was just like, you know, that's not talk.
Done it.
Yeah, yeah. But what the Champions League does is it gives you ultimately it creates a more experienced dressing room with more quality, because you're going to buy more players to play in that squad, because you'll need them. Yeah. And if you don't benefit as a player from being around better players with different mentalities, maybe better mentalities, better quality, more intensity in the way they work, the way they conduct themselves, the experiences they've got, that's got to be more beneficial to the dressing room long term than having a one-off wonderful moment at a cup. I
mean, you're saying it's difficult, Simon. I get it. Like every manager said, well, it's going to be tricky if we do this. But at the same time, Newcastle, it's there for them to do it.
Absolutely. And this is the purpose of winning a cup competition, to kick on. So they've got an instantaneous opportunity to kick on. Isak forms part of this conversation, because if you want to keep him in the background noise that will start to rumble in the summer about where he could and couldn't go,
big factor.
Getting into the Champions League, you win your game in hand against Brentford at home. With due respect to Thomas Frank, Brentford aren't great on the road. This is your opportunity. This is not after
they're coming off an unbelievable run on the road.
They've done better, have they? Well, at the beginning of the season, I'm thinking about Brentford.
They had a horrendous run on the road. Yeah. And now they've on an amazing.
But notwithstanding that, irrespective of that, if you're at home at St James's Park, and if you win this game, you go 4th in the league. Yeah. You don't have to rely on the 5th spot to get you into Champions League. You can put yourself in a box seat of being in control of your own destiny. So the natural thing should flow. And I'm sure Eddie knows that.
Do you know the biggest
thing? They can have both. They can have both this
season. Jim, the hardest thing, and can say this from experience, that game tonight for those Newcastle players, I know the fans will be buzzing, and that's all right, that looks after itself, but it is after the Lord Mayor's show. It's so hard to get yourself going in the same way. Yeah. Because I know they've been away on international as well, which won't help, but tough one.
We all know, of course, to finish today, Newcastle United Saudi owned. A Newcastle United YouTuber has admitted he was paid to promote trips to Saudi Arabia. Adam Pearson is a gentleman that I'm talking about. His post has had 25 million views, and he put out a 2-minute video on TikTok encouraging fans to go to Saudi Arabia to continue the club's Carabao Cup celebrations, enjoy the culture, learn a lot more about the country. Interestingly, a source close to the Saudis said they had no awareness of any Saudi holiday promotion. Anyway, this was Adam Pearson telling us all to go to Saudi.
For those of you watching who want to continue on the after party, get yourselves over to Saudi Arabia, enjoy the culture, learn a lot more about the country, and of course, get yourselves over to the Boulevard World in Riyadh. I've had the chance myself to be there in 2022, and for yous, it's a chance as well to learn a lot more about the background of Newcastle United, and of course, it is easy to get to. There are plenty of direct flight options in the UK. Visas are available online, and you can also get them on arrival to Saudi Arabia if you are from the United Kingdom.
Now, Adam and various influencers have been criticised for doing such things. Is there anything wrong in that, do you think?
Why would Newcastle fans think there's anything wrong with that? Their club is owned by Saudi. They're happy to take their money. Every boxing fan is raving about what the Saudis are doing. So why would there now be an outrage at that?
Some fans and fans of other clubs are saying, well, they're selling their soul here.
That job was done already, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean...
Once the fans are on board with the team's success, you can accuse all of them of that, can't you? Which is nonsense. My bigger concern is, how many did you say people have viewed that?
25
million.
That was what I was thinking. How?
What type of person would view his content?
Well, he's a very popular lad.
No, I mean I don't mean
creator.
on football. I mean on holiday advice. I mean, what 25 million? I'd understand if all the Newcastle supporters were looking at his stuff because he's a Newcastle fan, but other people are tuning into his stuff.
It goes far and wide. I mean, it's global. It goes far and wide. I get it.
I'm not saying my view is everybody's.
How many people are listening to you this lunchtime?
That's very true. Good point. What I'm saying is 25 million.
Why are we out? It's 25 million views. It doesn't mean everyone's looked at it. People come across it and they don't necessarily watch it. So people can watch it more than one time. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's 25 million individual people. Yeah. But the point is why are we? What is the issue here?
That he's taken money for it, and it's.
But what is the issue? I mean,
if he's taken money off the Saudis,
half of our football clubs are owned by everybody else but English people.
Other fans have said, you're selling your soul by doing that.
Right.
You know, if you weren't Saudi owned, you would have no interest whatsoever in Saudi Arabia. Well, of course he wouldn't. But they are Saudi owned, and he's doing his bit.
Well, also,
so
am I wrong in thinking that most Newcastle fans like a pint?
Yes, they won't be going to
Saudi. You
won't
go get one there.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, then maybe that was in the final line of the video.
Generalisation.
One slight drawback: no Newcastle brown ale in Riyadh.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.